All right, so I'm here with Sarah. Sarah, how old are you?
32.
Are you originally from Arizona?
Yes.
What part of Arizona?
Vail, Arizona. 30 minutes outside of Tucson on the other side.
And what are you doing out here in Phoenix?
My grandmother and my whole family moved here about 15 years ago.
What's your current situation right now? Are you homeless?
Yeah.
How long have you been on the streets for?
On and off for 4 years.
How'd you end up on the streets?
I chose to leave my family, friends, and my job for my baby's father. He got kicked out of the house because he threatened my grandmother.
And where's your baby's father at now?
He's clean and sober and works for New Freedom.
And what about you? Are you clean and sober?
No.
What kind of substances do you mess with? Do you mess with the blues?
Yes.
What about G?
Yes.
How long have you been messing with the blues?
Probably about 3 years now.
How'd you get introduced to it?
I used to do. In fact, I left one of my exes and had to get a restraining order, and he's the one that brought him to me. And then I got to a point where I was doing a ball a day, but I was still working and functioning and everything. But my baby's father decided to tell me that he'd leave me if I didn't get clean, so I went to the methadone clinic, and I got clean. And then when we ended up on the streets, we started doing G again, and then we met a friend from the clinic, and he started selling again, and he would just give it to me. But then when we stopped being friends with him, the blues had just hit the streets and couldn't get, so you had to go to the blues.
So you just decided to go try the blues?
Yeah, my baby's father was abusive, so it was kind of like my escape.
Did you know anybody else that was already on the blues before you tried them?
Yeah, everybody went to blues because they couldn't get the, and so every addict pretty much hit the blues, and then the blues flooded where you couldn't even get G sometimes, so even G addicts were going to the blues.
Crazy.
And my brother's been doing them for a long time.
So you have a brother out here too?
He doesn't stay in the same area, but yes, my brother's out here too.
On the streets?
Mhm.
Is that the only family member out here in the streets?
Yeah, my mom and my grandmother live up north, closer to Carefree Highway.
Does your mother and grandmother know about the situation you're in?
Yes.
That you're homeless right now?
Yeah.
What do they tell you?
I'm allowed to go home. I'm out here by choice because I don't want to go home. I just don't like the situation at home, I guess you could say. I went home for a little bit, recently. I just came back out here in March.
So how do you choose this lifestyle? Why would you choose it?
Because it's a lot less stressful, a lot less hurt.
What didn't you like about being at home?
It's hard to explain, I guess. There's just things with my mother that, my mom's always been there for me. She takes great care of me. She's a great mom. But there's just conflicts, I guess you could say. So it's just hard for me to stay there and watch certain things happen and whatnot. And then work was overbearing. That was just ridiculous. I got a job working with somebody that I used to be on the streets with, and I was working 15-hour days, and I wasn't even getting paid for the whole day. I'd clock out 3 or 4 hours early so he wouldn't get in trouble, and then he just started drama at work, talking things that weren't true about me, and it was just crazy. So
You had
I was
job,
an
right?
assistant manager at Circle K at Happy Valley and 19th Avenue for 3.5 years. And then before that, I was a store manager at McDonald's at I-17 and Carefree Highway for 5.
Why don't you go back to doing that kind of work?
Because it took my entire life.
What do you do now to survive?
Me and Mumu actually get a lot of help. I try to do things help some of the elder people on Northern clean their houses or whatever, because that's what I grew up doing with my mom, cleaning houses.
Yeah.
People like to help take care of Mumu. Because Moo, so Moo.
That's his name, Moo?
Yeah, like a cow, yeah. So.
Where'd you get him from?
In front of McDonald's on 19th and Northern about 4 years ago. In November it will be 4 years. Moo.
So is it just you and your duck out here now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
You were telling me that he went viral on TikTok and on the news and this and that?
Yeah, and Reddit and Facebook. He's known across Phoenix. People come and see him on the local bus because they hear about him.
Yeah.
People so when I left my baby's father, I left Northern. That was probably almost 3 years ago now. No, it was about 2. And I just came back to Northern probably about 3 months ago. So people that knew us from before, they all stop and they're just so excited that they see Moo again. They're excited I still have him. A lot of people can't believe that I've had him for so long and that he's still alive and well.
How do you take care of him?
It's easy because he doesn't fly. He's domesticated not to have flight feathers.
Okay.
So I don't have to have him clipped. And really they only have to have enough water to submerge their head every 6 to 8 hours to clean out their nostrils. And so basically, and he can just survive on he eats bird seed, bugs, anything I eat. Really, they have like a dog type diet, so no chocolate, no milk, stuff like that. But he can eat. He likes chicken, hard-boiled eggs, cucumbers, and they're pretty cheap, simple. I get my food stamps, and it goes a long way.
So you get food stamps out here?
Mhm.
Do you get bothered by the cops out here a lot?
Truthfully, on Northern, Moo and I were really well known because of the fights that me and my baby's father used to have. They used to come a lot, almost every day, sometimes 3 to 5 times a day. So they'll still stop and see how me and Moo are doing. They'll ask if I need anything, or they're really helpful. Really, most of the homeless people know how it works out here. Like if we're sitting in one spot and we're not supposed to be there, they come out and they say they're going to call the cops. We get our things, we get up and move before the cops are even called. Sometimes the cops show up, they just tell us that we need to leave, that we're trespassing. If we're caught there again, then we'll either be ticketed or arrested. But for the most part, they just tell you to move on. As long as you comply, it's not really trouble.
Yeah.
So there are some cops though that I've had cops when I was with my baby's father, they would come and look for us just to harass us, check run our names just to see if we have warrants so they could take us in, or they would even run our name before they even came to find us. They would be looking for us because they knew we had warrants or whatever.
Have you ever been in trouble out here with the law? You ever been locked up before?
I've done 2 nights, and it's for failure to appears.
How was it in there?
Boring and freezing, but quick. It's not necessarily quick, but it's not like it's the end of the world.
Where's your kids at now?
My sister adopted her. I was never supposed to have kids, so it was hard for me to connect with her. And then I had the postpartum, and then things going on with my baby's father. It was a hard situation.
How many kids do you have?
1.
1.
Mhm.
Is it a boy or girl?
She's a girl.
Well, at least she's being taken care of, right?
I know. I did the best thing for her.
Does your sister have custody of her?
Yeah, my sister has full custody over her.
If we have any younger viewers and they're thinking about running the streets or trying substances, what kind of advice would you give them?
Go back to school and don't. even like, I didn't even try it at a young age. I started at 22 when my dad died.
Yeah.
But there's kids out here that are 16, 14, and it's sad to see like me being an adult in this situation. It's sad to see other adults like teaching them, or like just letting them like not even like trying to coach them. Or
did you have any role models growing up? Any mentors, anything like that?
Yeah, I had tons of people in my life. My older sister, I always wanted to be like her. She's like, she works for Geico as an insurance agent. She's gone really far in the company. She's worked there for over 15 years. But she always makes sure she has everything scheduled out. She just bought a house. In fact, her house burned down and they just had to go and get another one. But, my sister, teachers that I've always been really close to my teachers. I have 12 letters of recommendation. I have a letter of recommendation from my high school counselor saying I did the impossible. So.
And why did you decide to get into the substances?
Because I gave up. I had to take my dad off of life support on Father's Day in 2012, and he was like my best friend.
I'm sorry.
And I started working 2 jobs to take care of me and my boyfriend, and they had me scheduled like 48, almost close to 40 hours straight, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I was talking to a coworker about it, and she's the one that introduced me to G. She said it was going to be like I could do it as a one-time thing. I always say no. And it's like the longer you sit there, and then eventually I'm like, okay. And then it turned into like one time turned into social times, and then social times turned into every day. And I actually left after 3 months of using, and I went and got clean. But when I came back, my boyfriend at the time had started using while I was gone. So I came back and went right back to it. And I did it for about 3 years with him, and then I had to get a restraining order. I was with him for 8 years. And he's the one that introduced him to me, because he thought if he got me addicted to him, I would have to leave his life.
And now he's clean.
No, that's a different one.
That's a different one.
Yeah, he's actually still out here. I don't have any contact with him. He went to prison for 3 years, and when he got out, he contacted me, but I guess he met a new girlfriend or something, and now I'm no longer of interest to him, I guess.
All right, well, thank you for sharing your story. I really do appreciate it. Are you okay with me using this on my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
And just in case some of my subscribers want to reach out to you with any sort of help or donations, do you have any contact information that you want to share? If you have an email.
I mean, my emails get logged out all the time. So I have my phone number. It's 623-6.
You probably don't want to do that, because you'll have like a bunch of people calling you.
I have a bunch of people calling me 24/7 anyway. But no, I have my Facebook.
Okay.
I have over 1,000 friend requests anyway, so it's Sarah Hansen.
Okay. All right, Sarah. Well, thank you for giving me this interview. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.